Hi quilting friends, this is Janae King, and we are doing block number 2 of Cabin by the Lake. So you may be wondering what I'm doing in my kitchen. Well, I'm actually really not in my kitchen. Well, I sort of am in my kitchen. It's my craft kitchen. So welcome to my sewing craft kitchen. I actually have 2 kitchens in my house, and this is kind of where I do some of my crafting. And well, it's now where I do my videotaping. So welcome to my home and welcome to my video. We are working on block number 2 of Cabin by the Lake by Royal Quilt Designs. And the kit that you got from Whitlock Sewing and Vac is going to include these items. The first thing in your kit is going to be triangles on a roll, and it is basically a template paper that we will be using for half square triangles. You will find your pattern in your kit. You are first going to find 3 fabrics. They are all the same, and these fabrics are for the fancy star centers. The next thing you'll find in your kit are 14 fabrics that are all the same size. These are 7 by 13, and you'll have 7 dark fabrics and 7 light fabrics. Next in your kit, you will find a square for its E in your pattern, and it's going to be cut for filler fabric. The next 3 fabrics are all the same size. 2 are the same and 1 is different. And those are going to be also filler pieces. And then the last piece of fabric in your kit is long and skinny, and that is also a filler fabric. So a big part of this block is making half square triangles. And what I learned is we are going to be making a lot of half square triangles in this whole entire quilt process. Cabin by the Lake has tons of them in there. So I think they're trying to, ease us into making a bunch of them with this month 2, because we make a lot of them. So I have demonstrated how to use the triangles on a roll paper in another video. So you're going to have to pop over to that other video and watch it, and it will explain how to do the triangles on a roll. It is not hard. It's super easy. You just pair your fabric with the paper, you sew on the dashed lines, you cut on the solid lines, and ta-da, you have tons of half square triangles. So pop on over to that other video and you'll see it's just a breeze. Now that I've showed you the kit, I want to show you the finished blocks. So right here I have the finished blocks, and the one looks kind of messy and funny because I want to show you how the block is put together. So this block is not completely sewn together. So the first thing that I'm going to do is actually dissect these pieces so that you can see how this all goes together in reverse order. So the pattern talks about making fancy stars, and at first I was kind of like, what? Like, I don't know what that means. So I soon discovered that it is these stars right here, and they have a fancy center. So they have a different center than all the rest. So I'm going to take those ones out. So it's this one and this one, and actually the one that is right here that's messy. So I'm going to leave that one up because I want to show you how to make that one later. So the other 4 stars all have just the same center fabric as the star points, and I'm going to take those off the board. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to set those aside. So what we have left are the filler pieces. So you have 1 square right here. You have a rectangle and a rectangle, all the same size. And then you have 1 long piece down here. I just have to make a side note. I love filming these videos but I don't know that I'm very good at it. So I apologize if the lighting is off, if you can't hear me, if I'm not explaining myself very well. You know, it's really, really tricky trying to videotape these things because I have to do it about 14 times before I get it right. But I'm learning how to write up a script first, so I kind of know what I'm telling you. And so I'm just hopefully not blabbering on all over the place, but explaining this fairly well. So we're going to take this fancy star right here, and we are going to look at it together. And so the first thing that I want to show you is the center, and this is the center that I first cut to 4.5 inches. Okay, so it's just a square of fabric, all the same fabric, and it's cut into 4.5 inches. Then the pattern tells me to cut 2.5-inch squares, make a pencil marking from corner to corner, and then I'm going to put that square into the corner here, into the corner here. I'm going to stitch on the pencil line, and then I'm going to press these back so it looks like that. Then you're going to want to trim those seams. So you're going to want to trim here, and you're going to want to trim here, leaving a 1/4-inch seam allowance. So once you've done that, you're going to take your last 2 squares and lay them on top. Oh my goodness. I'm actually short 1 lavender square, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. But you get the idea. You're going to sew here. You're going to open this up, and you're going to press and trim that seam allowance. So it's going to make a fancy star center. Let me show you what that looks like. Ta-da! So you can see here is our center, and then we've got those corner triangles. So what that's called is a square and a square. It's kind of a cool block, and you'll use it a lot in quilting. So once you've made the center, you're going to, let's just pretend this is done. You're going to take your half square triangles, and you're going to sew them together. So it's going to be background fabric to background fabric, and stitch those together. And that's going to go on top. You're going to have squares in the corners, solid squares in the corners. And then you're going to have another point and another point. Oops, that's not right. There we go. And a square here. And this square will go there. Sorry, I was putting that in the wrong spot. Anyway, I think you get the idea. So you're going to build on that block and finish your star. So one of the things I realized works really well is if you sew across by stitching everything together into rows. So you'll stitch this into a row, this into a row, and then this into a row. You'll want to press your seams. And what I found out is that those seams are going to want to be pressed in only pretty much one way. So these top seams I pressed towards the solid square. When I got to the inside, I pressed this one this way and this one this way. So these seams here are going to be opposing each other. When I sewed the rows together, I actually pressed the seam open right here. It just laid a lot nicer. So this seam here and this seam here actually are laying open, which means there's one side going one way and one side going the other way. Pressing can be pretty tricky in quilting, but don't fight it. I mean, if the fabric wants to lay one way, just press it down that way. But the one thing that you want to try to do is have opposing seams in the seams when you're putting the rows together here. You want to make sure that your seams are opposing each other, meaning you'll have a seam going that way and a seam going that way, and then they nest. So it'll just make the final product lay a lot nicer, and you won't be fighting with these big bumps on the top of your quilt. So once you get it all sewn together, be sure and press it good on the front side, and it should look really nice and flat. Be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because every month I will be posting videos on this quilt process, and I don't want you to miss out on them. So if you happen to be on vacation this year and you can't make it to class, be sure and check out my YouTube videos, and I will post how to make your block on there. So subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in class in May, and I can't wait. Bye.